He said, love ain't supposed to feel this cold. She said, and why everybody's so hard to hold. She said, maybe pride got control.
I'm your host, Glenn Lawrence, and this is my amazing host,
Gia McCool.
with a big forehead. And
Diva.
Diva. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about what a lot of people have been asking. Well, you mainly. How do I get my wife to be like you, Gia? And we have come up with a course.
Yes, we have.
And the course, look, we're going to give you two versions. All right, the explicit secular version is build a bitch. But for those that don't like the word bitch, you can say bride. You can make whatever makes you feel better.
Basically, good wives are created and
Yeah.
they're not found.
No, good wives are made.
Correct. They're created.
Yeah. And they're created and made based off of what?
Good, strong male leadership.
So this is not your daddy. This is your husband we're talking about.
Mhm.
So we're going to be talking about the overview of this course that we came up with, that we have spent almost over a year compiling information on. We've used a lot of work from my mentor, RP Thor, a lot of stuff that you've worked with, even incorporated some James Sexton stuff into this course when he talks about building yourself as an asset. So this course is for the man who is either looking to get married.
Right.
So this is great for young guys who are wanting to get married, what they need to know before, what it's going to be required of them as a husband, and good leadership before. Also, we tailor this with a woman's approach, because as we are telling men what they need to do to be a good leader, we have a portion of the course where it's addressing wives how to fall into that leadership.
Right. Because I know you guys hate the term male leadership, especially when it comes from a female, because you might say something like, well, all women who talk about male leadership never want to listen to their husband anyway, or never want to listen to male authority anyways. Well, actually, there are women who do want male leadership. They crave it. They desperately want it. And they need that certain guidance, right? I think every female, personally, any female I've ever met wants that guidance.
Yeah.
It's how it's done will determine whether or not she is accepting or she hears it within love. And I think that's something that gets left offline, right? Because, women talk about leadership, but they never want to follow. Well, a lot of women don't hear that leadership done in love. They hear it in a form of command or demands, and then they don't see the action on the other end.
I think it's more demand, not command, because presence commands, authority. Like, it's just demanding something, meaning it's something you don't deserve and you're just wanting this.
Right.
But commanding it is like, my presence commands submission. It means you walk in the room, people already know that's your role.
Right.
So
it's less about words and it's more about action, like how you hold yourself. So there are a lot of women who do want to learn and be guided. And I think that this course is for those women. It's not going to be for everybody, right? We're not doing a cookie cutter course. We're actually doing a course geared that you're going to meet with us one-on-one. Like every single case is going to be different. So this is not one of those like go online, log in, predetermined cookie. No, you're actually going to meet with us one-on-one, and we're going to go through what you deal with, because what's good for one might be bad for another.
Yeah. Right? And we're going to be taking your contextual situations and being that third, that the eye in the sky. We are not in your relationship. We are not involved in your home everyday life. We have an objective, look at things. We're not polarized either way by his side or her side. We are saying we can look at the problem and be like, hey, this is a problem that you're doing.
Right.
And then, this problem is causing this problem that she's doing. All right. So how about we address the problem so that you guys could get in one link, and then that she could fall into your leadership easier, And so we're really just trying to approach this at a holistic level and not picking sides.
I've been doing coaching since 1998. So way before the internet, I've been doing coaching. And from what every case that I have ever dealt with, it's always been, hey, what do I do? How do I help my wife understand this? And so I usually will meet with the women, and then I will help the husbands understand that the way she's communicating and what she wants him to understand, he usually doesn't understand unless there's that mediator in there.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand that what men are saying to women is usually not received because women hear it differently, because women hear intention while men give information. And that can kind of cross paths when you don't agree on how to move forward.
Yeah, I just think women are neurotic and they just need someone to mansplain it to them. But
I'm not going to argue with that.
see, there we go. It's a simplified version. Look, we got a mansplain, we got womanese, and we got mansplaining.
Yeah, we definitely have womanese and mansplaining. That's for sure.
What I really like about this course that we created is that not only are we incorporating basic psychology and stuff in it, but we are incorporating some biblical foundation to it, because a lot of the stuff that we do support it, we revert back to the scripture, be like, hey, it says it here. If you hold this worldview, if you're conservative and you hold this worldview, then you should align with what this is saying.
But I don't think it's just for.
It's not just for, but it's good for.
That has a Bible background or conservative. This could actually be for somebody who is an atheist.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, for the majority of the conservative audience that we do have, this does support a lot of their worldview already.
Right.
We're just helping them align. Like, we're going to be talking about the difference between leadership and communication. We're going to be talking about the difference between desire and purpose, right? And how a woman's desire is linked to her man's purpose.
We're also going to be discussing how feminism has conditioned women into believing that autonomy is destroyed in marriage, right? Because women have this I want to be independent, and they fail to understand that you absolutely can have autonomy in a marriage. I have my own hobbies, I have my own passions, while I'm still one with my husband. And they can be done. You just have to have that mindset developed around it.
Yeah, and we're also going to be talking about in the beginning for the men what it means to have a dominant masculine presence, and how women are very much attracted to a man with a dominant masculine presence, and how these factors can be presented in many different ways. So you don't have to be the guy with the chest puffed out all the time. No, your dominant masculine presence may be quiet and meek, right? While somebody else's dominant masculine presence may be very loud and boisterous. Like it's never one size fits all.
So there's going to be 8 modules and 8 weeks for this course. And you'll be meeting with us every single week. And you're also going to be having a 24/7 tech support for any of the issues that you have going on. I know when I talk to couples, or if I'm just handling the wife or the husband, usually there's this belief that people, when they start something or they implement something new that hasn't been implemented from the very beginning, they have this tendency to believe that, okay, well, I'm going to implement this new boundary, and she should just automatically get on board immediately within the first 3 months. And I have to tell them, no, this is not something that just happens. This is something that usually, if you've been doing something for 5 years incorrectly within the marriage, in order to change that, it may take 5 years to completely change.
Yeah, you got to figure, like, the amount of, as long as the bad behavior, however long the bad behavior was being allowed, you're going to have to give them grace to change.
Because it's relearning.
Because you have to teach them and give them grace. And this is part of leadership. I always say a good leader always sets those underneath him up for the success, right? So, like, it's like, if you want your wife to be the stay-at-home wife, then make sure that she doesn't have to go outside the house to work. Make sure that the cars are going to be paid. Make sure all those things that she needs is not on her plate. Well, if you can't provide that for her, then you're setting her up for failure, because now she has to go outside the house and to work, but you still want her to raise the kids, right? She still doesn't make her income, but then she still has to keep you satisfied.
I wouldn't say that you're setting up for failure, because there are some men that don't have that luxury to be able to be the sole providers. But I think that understanding what roles you play and coming down to, like, okay, I understand that you're not going to be able to do everything in the house.
Well, that's the whole point, right? Like, by saying, like, oh, I want you to be a stay-at-home wife, but then I need you to go work.
You have to be realistic.
You have to be
Yeah,
realistic, and you
yeah.
have to give them grace, and then tailor what your
Right.
those duties are going to be. Right? You have to you can't have unrealistic expectations,
Mhm.
and having a good leadership structure. If I'm a good leader, I'm going to set the people up that are underneath me for success by providing them the tools that they need
Mm.
for to be successful in their role. And that's what I was trying to get at. So if you want your kids to be homeschooled and you want her to stay at home, then make sure you make enough money and make sure you can provide the food in the house so that she can make sure your dinner is ready. Like
Right.
you have to set her up for success.
You also, like, for I know Glenn will be working more on the male leadership side of things, because I do believe that men are better leading men. And I will be handling more of helping a woman be thankful and show gratitude. To be able to open her eyes, to give her self-awareness about some of the things that she has been conditioned to believe through feminism that isn't actually accurate or realistic. I think what Glenn will be doing is helping a man really set down his priorities, because I think
Mhm.
today we have a lot of men that have all these like wants or needs, because as we know, men in a relationship or in a marriage are not as simple as they make it on the internet. They will make it seem like a man is very simple. Just cook for him, just have sex with him, give him peace, right? That's how they put it out on the internet. But in actuality, a man in a relationship or a marriage has a lot more requirements. So what he has to do is really sit down and say, okay, this is what I prioritize going forward. And that's what Glenn is going to help him give structure, because women without structure in a marriage
Is chaos.
It's chaos, because now guess what she's going to do? She's going to set up her own structure.
And you never want to live under a woman's structure, okay? It's chaotic. It's like they are every day the sky's falling. They're chicken little. I'm like, oh my God, don't go outside. It's storming outside.
Because, and I'll tell you why. See, women, the reason why men are like, why are women like this? Because women don't think in a linear, right? They're always going at like, okay, I have this and I have that, and they're putting it in the large grand scheme of things.
Yeah, guys are just a direct shot.
Right.
Like we're
Men are like, okay, this is what happens first, so this is what I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to compartmentalize this, right? Women don't do that. Women see if there's 10 things that need to happen within the course of 6 months, women will literally wake up at 4 a.m. and do a list of all 10 things, and then she struggles to really compartmentalize which one
execute
to
the list.
execute,
Yeah.
right? Men are really, that's why together, a husband and a wife together do really well. If the husband can be like, listen, babe, I got this. This is what I need you to
the husband
focus
should
on.
be giving the list out
And
here.
if
This
he
is your
tells her,
task.
hey, this is what I need you to focus on, then she can go, okay, boom, and it relaxes her.
Exactly. And so one thing we're gonna hone in on, because we also talk about desire and support and intimacy. When we had Sterling Cooper here recently, so we're gonna be diving into a lot of what he's also brought up as well as supporting.
Well, I actually have a whole program to ignite your sex life.
Yeah.
So that's like something, if you really want to get just into improving sex life, we have that, but we will be touching definitely, because I think if you get the sex right in a relationship, a lot of the other things seem to fall in place.
Oh yeah. I mean, it just shows the couple that bangs together stays together.
There's lots of tests on this, right?
Yeah.
They've done a lot of like research on this. They've taken big
But see, the
groups of
one thing that
people.
they try to minimize recently is that, like, they try to diminish the woman's sexual desire or her satisfaction in sex.
So in the research, it shows that it doesn't matter what type of relationship it was. Like they tested homosexuals, heterosexual. They did it all for everybody. And what they found is that people in monogamous relationships who had frequent sex, they reported to have less depression, better quality life, right? So that goes to show you that it's all about, it's not necessarily,
it's not about the quality or quantity of sexual partners, it's about the quality
and having it frequently.
Exactly.
And enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm looking excited. I'm going to be excited for this course. It's out now. You can get it on Gia McCool's website. I think that.
What do you think some of the worst, like, what do you think is one particular thing that every single married couple deals with that is hurting their chances of working together as one? Like, what's one of the main things happening in modern day relationship and marriage?
So I think there's the servant leader model that's been pushed around a lot. Men are supposed to serve their families. And not saying that men don't serve their families, but it's like, oh, happy wife, happy life. I think that narrative has really been beaten down into a lot of young men. And I think as long as that is festering, then he's pedestalizing her. She's not respecting him. And it's this inversion of the hierarchy that God created. So as long as you have that inversion, I think that's the number one thing we have to address. Because it's like this. It's like perfect example. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna give you one question.
Okay.
You and your husband, been married, blah, blah, blah. You love this area, right? He says, you know what? I got an opportunity, got a job opportunity. He's going to pay us, 3x of what we're making now. But we are moving to Wyoming. And it says like, we're going.
Actually, I had that scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did that scenario work out?
I told him, let's go.
See?
I told him whatever he wants to do, I'm there.
But see, like that right there is like although you love this area, your family's here, you still chose him. You followed his leadership. You didn't even question it. You know that he cares enough about you that he knows you're going to want to see your family. He knows you're going to want to come back here and visit. So you know that he already has that covered, right? You may say, hey, let's do it, but can we make sure we go back for the holidays, at least for the family, right? You probably have those kind of concessions, and that right there would be fine. So when you look at that scenario, everybody says like, oh yeah, I would serve my husband, but when it comes down to where you're going to live, if husband says we're moving, if wife says no, that tends to be then you're not following his leadership. So I think this inversion that the church is calling servant leadership is one of the most biggest problems that we're seeing for relationships.
And it's funny that you say that because almost every couple that I've coached had that issue.
Yeah.
They were told happy wife, happy life.
Yep.
And because of that, he was troubled because it ended up him doing what she wanted. Another thing that I think I see a lot happen is letting the family get involved in your marriage. That's what I think happens on or at least every married couple that I know. If one or the other allowed their family to have input or to get involved in the marriage, it without fail caused issues.
Well, because what you're doing, you're immediately trying to find a workaround of the husband's authority. If the husband's saying, hey, this is the direction that we're going, well, but my cousin Stacy says that we shouldn't do that because her brother Paul did it and he didn't work out. I don't give a fuck what Stacy says. We're doing this. Well, then my dad said that, look, you're not married to your dad. Now, family is important, don't get me wrong, but family should not have a place within the marriage.
And that's biblical too.
Yeah.
It says that once you get married, you leave
your mother and your wife and you cling, or you leave your father and your mother and you cling to your wife and you become one flesh. So that means their opinions don't matter anymore.
I've actually lost a lot of female wives because I
You had wives? You had wives?
Women. I've lost a lot of women coaching. Like after I told them that, hey, when you get married, you separate yourself from your family. It is what your husband says.
Yeah.
You know how quick these women like never wanted to come back to coaching after that? They didn't want to hear that.
I'm sure.
Because what they wanted was they saw their husband as like, oh, he's going to help now, not just me. Now he's not going to just give me the lifestyle. Now he's going to help my mom, who's also in trouble.
You know what?
And my brother, and I'm like, no. That's not how it works. You don't put your husband in more financial responsibility. That's not his responsibility. And when I say that, it's like, Gia, shut up. We don't want to hear you. We're not coming back to you. We're going to find somebody who tells us
we're going to tell what we'll hear and makes our men agree to it.
And the crazy part is that the husbands know what I'm saying is true. They agree with me. They're trying, but then immediately they're like, oh, I have to do what she says.
No, they're like, oh, I like sex.
I liked coming to you. You're right, but she doesn't want to hear it. Like,
and she's not going to give me.
Go to my pastor in my church because the pastor says that I got to buy my mother-in-law.
Yeah. It's stupid. It's like, well, and here's the thing: is they're weaponizing vagina. Let's just be honest. What they're doing. Oh, if your wife ain't happy, well, she's not going to be happy. Then she's not going to give me sex. Oh, okay. So if I want to have sex, I better keep her happy. No. How about if she doesn't keep you happy, she doesn't get dick?
Okay, so let's talk about, because I think these kind of warning signs happen even before the marriage happens.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that that's one of the things in our program is we are going to help men understand that these things have to be nipped early on. If you are seeing these warning signs, these red flags before you even start marriage, and you are proceeding to reward her for bad behavior, then
Yep.
you are asking for the problem.
Yeah, you can't be mad at her 10 years down the road if she's dressing like a slut and you're been mad at her. She's been dressing this way the whole time, but she still be dressing like this.
Mhm.
And then you're going to be trying to shame her that she's dressing like a slut. Well, guess what?
Or she doesn't want to listen to you. She's going to her family, or she's
Yep.
saying, no, I don't want to have sex with you, even though she's already had sex with other people without marriage. You know, these are, if a woman does this when she's already not a virgin and she's had sex out, you can, without a doubt, understand in the marriage, you are going to be sexless at times.
Oh, just be like, what was that girl's name? Sarah Struck. She had her fiance waiting for her, like virgin until marriage, whatever, while she was banging out her boss.
Yeah, it's like, I get it. If you really didn't have sex and now you want to say that for your husband, that's very commendable. But a lot of these women aren't doing that, right? They're giving it free access, and then they're setting those same limitations onto the men. Now, women will say, well, because I didn't know better.
Or they'll be like, well, he was
now
boyfriend
I
material.
Make sure that doesn't happen going forward. That's why I'm setting these new boundaries. But you have to be consistent. And that is what I think men notice the most. They're not going to care if, you dress a certain way. I don't think that's a huge deal, or like there's some of the things they can overlook, but if you're not consistent as a person and you're not disciplined and you don't keep your word all the way through and you change and flip-flop, that's like a huge turnoff for a man. Yeah.
So I encourage you guys to go to giamcool.com, click on the Build a Bitch course. It's the Glenn with the great labeling. It has a guy building his bitch. And sign up today. I think it'll be a good thing for you guys to do. Join us, have some fun with us, and let us help you get the type of relationship that you want.
Yes, you can go there. You can also download the module flyer, which will show you how each week and what the things that we will be going over. So if you want an overview to kind of understand it, and you can always drop us questions in the meantime, whether it be under our YouTubes, or if you want to send us a DM, or if you want to send us through the website, let us know exactly what you're working with and how we'll proceed, because we can customize it.
Yeah. And, other than that, if your wife has a big forehead, just know that she's going to be neurotic. All right. It's okay. It's okay. Big brain up there.
And if you're with a man who takes longer than a female to get ready, it's okay. It's not gay. Okay. It's not gay. It's just that he likes to do his nails and his hair. And
whoa, nails.
And then and chiseled back. Look at the haircut,
What? It's called style. Join us for Build a Bitch, you guys. We look forward to seeing you guys there. Until next time, peace.
Love ain't supposed to feel this cold. Then why everybody's so hard to hold? Maybe pride got control.